evening. My name is Victory. I'm a mom organizing leader with Take Action Minnesota. On September 26th, we launched a reNEW Minnesota campaign at Arlington High School with over 800 people in attendance. I'm excited about this reNEW Minnesota vision and its meaning. To me, it's about equity, and equity that we all see, no matter what race, social, or economic background we come from. It's also about knowing that I have a say in who our next governor is. It's about making sure we have a veteran who shares our vision and will implement that vision through his or her time in office. Now, everyone here who shares this vision wants to know, since the launch on September 26th, what have you done to enact the vision, and how have you incorporated that vision in your campaign?
The vision as it relates to all the areas, or the?
You're right, in all the areas.
The event in September was extraordinarily exciting, and I was very privileged to participate, and it was very thought-provoking. In terms of what I have done since then to enact the vision, I would have to say to continue with a lot of the work that I have done as county attorney to make our system more fair, and the work I've done on the campaign trail to bring people together and talk about issues. I think one of the most exciting parts of running a statewide campaign is traveling the state, talking to many, many constituencies about how they see the various issues through their experiences and what solutions they want to come up with. The basic questions that the next governor will face: how to balance the budget, how to provide universal, accessible, affordable health care to all, how to educate our kids in a fair way, in a quality way, no matter where that child attends school. All those issues are very basic to the task of our next governor, but how people view those issues, what their direct experiences are very different. So one of the very important tasks I've undertaken since that meeting was to continue those conversations about how do you see healthcare happening? How do you see in your community education happening? How do you see our justice system needing to be reformed? Let me give you one very specific thing I've done since we last gathered. The criminal justice system is probably one of the harshest examples of the inequality that plays out in our society. We have in Minnesota one of the lowest, or if not the lowest, the second to lowest incarceration rate in the country. That's been the result of deliberate decisions, and that, in fact, I think keep us safe. However, we also have, I think, the highest disproportionate confinement of minorities in the country. And my work on various justice initiatives has been toward righting that wrong.
I just have a follow-up on that. We kind of lay out a choice between an ideology we reject and a vision that we support. An ideology that we reject of everyone's on their own versus an ideology we support about community. Can you talk about how you've laid out that choice in your campaign and how you'll use it moving forward?
I'm often asked what the worst thing that Tim Pawlenty did to the state of Minnesota. And one could go on and on about examples. And obviously the prime concrete example that's often given is the No New Taxes pledge. Because of that pledge, that's really been about advancing Tim Pawlenty's career and not what's best for Minnesotans. There's been serious damage done to our state. But what I think the worst thing Tim Pawlenty has done is create an environment, create a community dialogue that every person for themselves is the mantra, is our community value. And in fact, that is not true. And what I will do as governor, what I've done on the campaign trail, is talk about, in fact, we're all in this together. And if you don't want to do things like provide health care, educate kids, because it's the right thing to do, then I'm telling you, as a career criminal justice professional, you better do it for the safety and security and strength of our communities. We are all in this together.
So now we'll move on to our next question, which will be asked by Molly. My name is Maureen Leader, and I'm a Take Action Minnesota leader from Edina. I'm a proud supporter of the Renew Minnesota campaign, and I know that we need a seated progressive governor to help us to accomplish our goals. I also know this person will need to raise taxes in a fair manner, so you led right into this with your other answer. We've seen just how damaging the new taxes has been both to Minnesota and to the people of Minnesota. So with that in mind, I ask, if you are elected governor, what will you do to raise taxes? And specifically, how will you use your campaign to build the political support to raise these revenues during your administration?
The question of raising revenues is a core question. And I believe the responsible answer is that we have not raised enough revenues to meet the core needs of our communities. And we need to take a look at all of our revenue streams and all of our expenditures. The budget situation is very, very dire. We can't even pay today's bills, much less set a plate, set the table for paying our future bills as our population ages. So we need to take a responsible approach. Simply put, what I have said in every venue, all taxes need to be on the table. All expenditures need to be on the table. And we need to make sure that the very important services that government provides and needs to provide are paid for, and not with funding shifts and accounting tricks and other ways that the burden is put on the next biennium and the next generation, etc. In terms of, I'm sorry, what was the rest of the question?
The rest of the question was how, in your campaign, will you go about we did this?
You know what, that's, I'm remembering now. Listen, I kind of go on and lose track of what I was thinking. But that is a very important aspect of the question, is what are you doing in the campaign to talk about it? And I know that prosecutors, career prosecutors like myself, are viewed with some suspicion in the progressive community. You go on my website, you look at where I stand on things, and I would hold that platform up against any progressive. But because of my life experiences, my career experiences, people assume that I am conservative, that I don't care. What I bring to this campaign is an ability to translate the needs of this community to the broader community, to make sure they understand, hey, if you don't pay for this now, if you don't intervene now with these children, if you don't help this family now, you're really going to pay for it down the line. And I can tell you that from my experience, 25 years in a county attorney's office. Whether it's delinquency, truancy, child protection, I can tell you where the bills are going to end up being paid down the line if you don't do what's right now.